Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our call this evening called Aligning with Success. The purpose of this call is for the newest person in Niken who's maybe just joined us in the last few days or the last week or two and is really kind of feeling maybe a little bit unfamiliar in unfamiliar territory. I know that that's what it was like for me when I first got involved, especially in the network marketing business. And so you might feel somewhat disoriented because there's some moving parts that you're not familiar with. And I kind of liken it to driving a car. When you first get started in driving a car, you're sort of aware of all the moving parts, the steering wheel and the turn indicator and the brakes and the gas pedal and the mirrors and all the cars around you. And it's a little nerve-wracking, but after a while, you could sip a coffee, read the newspaper, and do just about anything while you're driving, second nature. So that's kind of what happens in Niken when we first get started. We start to learn the nuances of what makes this business tick, what makes it work, and what makes it easy and duplicatable. But at first, it doesn't seem that way, and it's just simply the unfamiliarity of it for many people as to why that might be. So hopefully this call will help you become a little bit more familiar and acquainted with the do's and don'ts, or mostly the do's, of what it is that it takes to build a successful Niken business, some of the culture of Niken, what it is, the protocols that we follow and things we emphasize so that we can create a business that's teachable, learnable, teachable, and duplicatable for all the people involved. So let me just go ahead and switch to my PowerPoint, and we can deliver that. And then just do a little bit of follow-up at the end with some of the people who are on who might share some of their experiences or some Q&A. So again, aligning with success is the nature of this call. And I really think it's important that we first start with what we mean by success, because if you're new to this business especially, you've come from a world where success is defined by things that I believe are quite different than what we see it as. Most of us agree that success is based on what you have accomplished. So it's actually an achievement, accomplishment, rather than a protocol or a way of being. And that's what's different about Niken. Niken defines success a little bit differently than most, and it's important to understand that because it's what we promote, it's what we are seeking to experience on a growing basis. So our definition begins with the one I first heard from Earl Nightingale, who shared it with my mentor, who then shared it with me. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. When you adopt this as your new definition of success, this is what I share with my children. It's so important. Because what it really means is we are either in alignment with success or out of alignment with success at any given moment in time. In fact, it's not a destination, it's a direction. If we can define what is a worthy ideal, and I'm going to ask whoever's unmuted to please mute yourself. If you can define what is worthy of your life, which is really what a worthy ideal is, what is worthy of trading your life for? If you can define it, and then start progressing toward it, then that by definition is a success. When you stop moving toward it, you're no longer a success regardless of what you've acquired. So by that definition, there's a lot of people who are in your sphere of influence right now who are probably like many of the successful people that I've met who are very busy putting out fires and not really living a purposeful life or a life of great meaning. And so this definition would be much more relevant to them. And hence, this opportunity is so valuable to share with people, especially those who we consider success, because they're probably looking for a better version of success themselves. And so let's take a look at how this all begins. We need to align ourselves with a structure. And we've all been born into that, whether it's a socioeconomic structure, a religion, education, and so forth. We've been cultivated, educated to believe certain things to be true. And based on those beliefs, we behave in a certain way. And based on those behaviors, we create results. And those results are either in alignment or out of alignment with our vision, what we can see or imagine for ourselves. And as time goes by, as we age, a lot of people we find have lost either their vision or have shrunk their vision to a point where it actually mirrors their current reality. So day in, day out, it's the same. So what we really need to look at is expanding our vision to be in alignment with our true purpose. And that's a bigger conversation that rarely happens. What is really my purpose for being here? So in Niken, we kind of do it backwards. We start with the end in mind, which is what is our purpose? Then we create a vision that helps us understand what it looks like to be living that purpose for ourselves as an individual. And it's different for everyone. And then we generate results that are consistent with that. We start moving in the direction of those results. We look at the behaviors that will produce those results, which are in what I've mentioned before, duplicatable. What are the beliefs that support those behaviors so that they come naturally to us? And therefore, what is the structure ultimately that is going to give us those beliefs? And that's what we're talking about here today. You've joined not just the Nikan business, but an organization and a structure that will help this all happen. And so let's start with that end in mind. You've heard this before, our purpose, living a life in balance. That's what we mean when we talk about humans being more. A more purposeful life, a movement that's creating humans being more. In each of these 5 areas, areas of our life, finances, mind, body, family, society. So as we use this sort of as our bullseye, if we move toward this, every day that we're moving toward an expanded version of this mind, body, family, society, and finances of ourselves, but doing it in a way that's more in alignment with balance, that's going to give us a sense of fulfillment and purpose. And this is really where the joy comes from and the definition of success comes from. So how do we get there? Well, we plug into the structure. The structure or the ABC system is what ultimately guides us and directs us in this direction, especially when we're brand new. We join this active wellness movement, this movement called Humans Being More. So let's start with, on the right-hand side, your upline. This is the group of people that you've just joined, who've registered you as a Nikan consultant, and their sponsor, sort of the lineage that you come from. And this lineage has no doubt a direct investment in your success because they are rewarded based on the productivity of your business and your organization. So they have vested interest in helping you succeed. But beyond that, they also have experience. More experience than you have, that's for sure. And so leveraging them, learning to leverage the experience, the time and the talent of the people who are vested in your success is perhaps the greatest thing you could accomplish in getting your business off the ground. These are people who really want to help you succeed, but it is up to you to allow them in. And if you've come from the corporate world where it's sort of dog eat, you have to fight for your survival there, and you often have to prove yourself capable and beyond capable of being in the position you're in. So you're competing with people not only beside you or beneath you, but even above you. Not here. It's the inverse of that. And so getting this message right up front, right at day one, is super, super important for your success and longevity and your ability to duplicate success, because it's really about helping each other in a collaborative environment. So utilize their strengths and they'll help you build upon yours. The extended version of that is our cousins and the people we meet, we call the Nikan family. Members of Nikan are part of the Nikan family, and we're all in this together. When you consider the world at large, we're too far and too few in between, and we have a huge task ahead of us. So each other is much better. Team is much better than any one of us alone. So this group of people, of like-minded people, is a group that you want to plug into and be a part of. Get to know them, meet them at the various functions, whether they're online, whether they're live and in person at our big events. But get to know these people as if they are kindred spirits, because they are. And they may become very important to your success as you start to exchange ideas and contact information. And who knows, you may have some of them doing some of your ABC calls with you and vice versa. Then there's Nikan, of course, the infrastructure that Nikan's laid down to help us build a business, not just locally, but internationally. Things like our personal web page, things like the back office. These are things you want to become familiar with, the tools that Nikan has placed as our resources. You want to dig into them. Now, it may not be an afternoon, there's quite a bit there, but make a point on a daily basis to check in, check your volumes, see what's going on behind the scenes and what tools are available for you as a resource. The more you can extract from that, the better it is. For instance, if you were an electrician like I was, and you had a tool pouch full of tools, but you didn't know how to use them, well, they just wouldn't be any use to you. And you probably couldn't do a very good job of it, of being an electrician. But if you were very familiar with the tools, then you'd know exactly which one to apply and when. So familiarize yourself with the infrastructure that Nikan has laid down to help you build this business. Also, and the biggest part of this equation is you. You are essentially the filament in the light bulb. You want to see yourself as part of this whole, an essential part. In fact, if you consider yourself the filament, the brighter you burn, the more light you share, the bigger the experience for everyone, every home, a wellness home. And so your ability to create that impact, that light in the world, is going to be very much dependent on how much energy you draw from the resources around you, which I've already inferred. One of those resources comes to us by way of this call and many others like it. Playing to the rhythm of the business. Living a life in balance is really going with the ebb and flow of life. Well, playing to the life of this business will help you become very, very familiar with it, and it'll be easier for you to help others through this process of development. And it begins with being contacted. You were contacted. You were introduced to the products, then the business. You were probably introduced to how we get started in the business, hence you've registered. We're now on the alignment section of this call. This is the purple box in this process. From here, you'll go to a launch, and you'll learn about how to launch your business. Then you'll plug into the weekly schedule of events, leadership events that help you expand your understanding and leverage this schedule. Eventually, you'll lead groups yourself as a mentor. And so this process that I'm referring to is an evolutionary process that has daily, weekly, monthly, and larger rhythms to it. And so plugging into the rhythm, playing to the rhythm, and you'll hear this word a lot in NECAN, the rhythm of the business, is critical because it just really helps things to flow. Our calendar, our online calendar, you'll find at theroyalalliance.com/events. When you go there, you'll see the calendar of events that are happening online that you can plug into to introduce your key people to. It's amazing to have this many options available to introduce someone and to learn. You may be on the first time around just to hear people, how they present the products, how they present the business, how they actually do that contact and invite. And so if you're on these calls by yourself, you're in learning mode. If you bring guests to the calls, then you're in business building mode. I encourage you to bring guests every opportunity you can. Our next major event, you want to plan on being there. In fact, we launched the event last week, a week ago today. And so this is an event you can purchase tickets for right now. I suggest before the block of 5 is gone, speak to your sponsor about getting a block of 5 for yourself and the people you're going to be bringing with you. It's held October 21 through 23 in San Antonio, Texas. This is going to be the event of the year. We're going to have an international event. People from Europe, Latin America, across the NECAN family are going to be in appearance, as well the top dignitaries in NECAN and the top people in terms of income and success. Also, all the new success stories. This is the place to be. If you're going to be in NECAN at all this year and build yourself a business at all this year, then I'm telling you, Mike DiMuccio is telling you, as will every leader in NECAN tell you, you need to be in San Antonio, Texas. So make a point of getting your tickets up front. Why? Because what you do, you will sow the seeds of others to do. And you'll be there, not alone, but with a team of your own. You're going to plug into a bunch of great people, celebrate the successes of not only yourself, maybe even members of your team. There's 6 months between now and then. There's no reason why you shouldn't have a group of people there as part of your team. Our culture in NECAN, you've heard this expression in the business presentations and the product presentations, active wellness. Means getting involved in your well-being. We are teaching people to take care of themselves. Self-care is what we want to encourage. Every home a wellness home. That's our mission. There's a lot of homes out there. Can you imagine if every one of them was a wellness home? What an achievement. What a world that would be. And that's a world worth building. So start with your own wellness home. Be your own best customer. Make a point of getting it started well and keep it going. That means ongoing monthly purchases for your nutritional needs, your skincare, which I'm a huge fan of, by the way, and expanding into the rest of the house, other rooms of the house that need these products. Launch your business. Make a focused point of working with your sponsor, create a launch plan. A lot of people get started in NECAN, but not as many launch their business the way they really ought to. There's a difference you just know the sense of the word. I mean, if you launch an airplane into the sky, it's going to get off the ground. If you kind of just hobble along, well, it's just going to run out of runway. And so launch your business. Make a focused effort at doing that. Earn NECAN reward points. This is one of our staples in NECAN. Minimum 500 points, personal volume every month ought to be your minimum goal. And as up to 1,500 points, all of these, 500, 1,000, 1,500 points come with NECAN reward points. Essentially, NECAN is going to reward you by giving you free product or the ability to purchase free product with those points for doing the right thing. So they're placing an emphasis, a focus on what some of the minimums are, and we want to encourage that behavior. Duplicate not only the NECAN reward points, but the NECAN Entrepreneur Club. Again, this is a business building exercise. If you're building the business, you're going to be enrolling people. helping them become senior is just part of the plan. But if you do 3 of them within a month's time, well, there's a better part of that because you earn some cash bonuses, up to $300 cash bonus. Not a bad way to get your Nikan business off the ground. Right behavior and get additional bonuses in over and above the compensation plan. Teach this process. Do this 3 times, and guess what? You're well on your way to silver, if not silver already. Duplicate this with your organization as they team up, and you've got a protocol and a standard for launching your business, which will create incredible duplication and success. And what follows with you going silver is helping others go silver. Help 3 people achieve that within a 90-day period of time, any 90 days, and you achieve the Paragon Award. This is an amazing award. It's for the, let's just say it's the real cat's meow in terms of business building achievement. Earn an extra $1,000 or a big screen flat TV. I never say that right. Big flat screen TV. I don't think it's even written right. I think it's a big screen flat TV, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Join Team Kaizen. So Team Kaizen really is for the high achievers in Nikan. It's for people who want to be recognized as a business builder and want the support and recognition of that. What we do to achieve Team Kaizen is the minimums, the 500 point that we talked about every month for the period, for the duration, it's the year. Help 3 people achieve silver, which is basically the Paragon. You can do it either in 3 months or you can stretch it out over the year. Either way, you achieve Paragon, which comes with its own membership, its own recognition. So the people who are hitting Team Kaizen this year, are striving for that, and you want to be one of them, are the ones who are going to get the biggest bang for their buck, not only in their business, but in terms of recognition and all the things that go with that. And to help you, choose a mentor. You don't get there alone. And now a mentor doesn't have to be the person who enrolled you. It certainly can be if they're a platinum in rank or above. But a mentor is somebody who is obviously platinum rank and above, has a lot more success that they can share with you and guide you. And they are rewarded as well because they're striving to achieve Team Taishi by helping people achieve Team Kaizen. That's where that mentor relationship comes in. As everyone follows the ABC system, namely yourself, you're going to benefit from third-party credibility, which is essentially what the ABC system is. If you had a guest on tonight, I'm your A. I'm doing the work for you and helping them understand some fundamentals. This concept is so powerful for duplication that you don't have to be an expert. Anybody can build this business anytime because the experts are available to help you. We collaborate with our teams. This is an important statement. Collaboration is the key to success. Collaboration is people working together for common purpose. And so this is a business which is nothing but that. It's an encouragement of a behavior that is maybe contrary to a lot of the way the world lives. We strive for balance. I know that balance is not something you're always in. In fact, as I was launching my business and as I was going through advancements in rank, setting goals for myself and really pushing the envelope, I'd go for 2, 3, 4, 5 months where it seemed like I was out of balance, but it was all for the right reason, to achieve balance, to strive for balance and live a life of balance, which I've had years upon years of benefit from. Be an ambassador. Be an ambassador of this message. Everything you've heard tonight, be ambassador of Nikan, ambassador of humans being more, the living balanced philosophy, and of course, every home a wellness home. So that's what we encourage. That's our behavior. We've got a number of people who've joined us since. I'm going to ask if you'd like to maybe share, and I'd really like for some of you to participate in this call in the last 10 minutes that we have, to share a personal experience about how the ABC system has worked for you. Now, I want you to speak in terms of the person who's brand new. They have never heard about this, and they really want to learn about any of the things we talked about, Paragon, entrepreneur, going silver, any of those things, the online agenda. If you have an experience that you'd like to share with the newest person, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Anyone? Well, you don't have to go at the same time. I can help you out with that. Could I volunteer some of you then? Anyone? Okay. How about I put, Connie, I can see your face. Can I volunteer you, Connie? Connie, I see you. Okay, hang on a second. I see you taking notes. I see you taking a lot of notes, Connie. Tell me, you've been on this call once before, I'm sure. Why the notes?
It helps me retain all the many things that you've said. I do go back and I will glance at them. It's well presented. It helps me form a script as I'm talking to someone that's new. I'll pull a phrase out, that seems appropriate just for them, and it helps me to have the verbiage to do that.
So would you agree that these calls have been very useful for educating yourself in how to help somebody in grow their business? I've often said that a lot of people probably subconsciously sabotage their own ability to sponsor because they wouldn't know what to do if they sponsored somebody.
Exactly.
And so to have a sort of a guidance system and a path is so helpful. I agree, right?
Mike?
Yes, Madeline.
I have Joe Straley on. He just came on. Joseph, unmute yourself, please.
I see Joe.
And Joe's been struggling with the ABC. So Joe, you have the pro here. Why don't you share with Mike where you've been? And I know you're coming in late on the presentation, but.
Joseph, let me ask you, are you having a tough time actually doing ABCs or allowing yourself to do ABCs?
Just kind of coming across with the customers and trying to get them to do it. I'm just now going to start doing the ABCs with us because Madeline suggested that we start doing all that.
Well, hey, listen, if you'd heard this call, you'd know that that's the underscore emphasis. I mean, it is the way we do business. It is a learning protocol. It's a way to leverage. And if these are people who know you, they know you from the world that you live in with them. And so you're not an expert to them in this new world. But if you bring them an expert, and as far as they're concerned, Madeline is an expert, because they don't know Madeline like they know you on a personal level. So all they have to go by is what Madeline has to share, the information that she shares, the way she shares it, how informed she is when she shares it, her experience and credibility comes through. And that lends itself to you, Joseph, making the experience for the customer or the consultant, whoever you're sharing this with, feel more comfortable that it's not about Joseph, it's about the information and what they're going to do about it. So this protocol helps Joseph or anybody who is new in the business to be able to bridge the gap of, I don't know what I'm saying, I don't know what to say, I don't have a lot of experience in this, but I have a customer or a consultant or prospect who really needs to know about this. How do I bridge the gap between my competence and their ability to receive the information? And there's the answer. It's the A. And simply put, it makes it easy for anybody to do this business, no matter how new you are.
Mike, he's been a successful entrepreneur for 30-some years in a painting business, and it's all word of mouth. So he's been a little frustrated that he hasn't been as successful here because he's talking about his wonderful story. Mm-hmm.
You know, Joseph, I sort of suspected that about you, that you were an entrepreneur, and I'll tell you why. Because you're gonna laugh, but this is the truth. I find it hardest for entrepreneurs to do the ABCs. Because they're so used to being the boss. They're so used to being the one who makes it happen, and you need to know everything, and you expect people to rely you to know everything because that's your nature. That's what makes you the entrepreneur and have the skill set that you have. But in this business, it works against you. So you use your entrepreneur sense to say, I've come across something that my entrepreneur sense tells me is a good idea, and I have an expert who I'd like to introduce you who can share what it's all about. This is my partner, Madeline. She'll explain the details. And so if you think of Madeline as a partner and not an upline or some strange word to people, but just simply as a partner who is an expert in the category that she's in, and then you'll have it'll be a breeze. It's like if you're not a plumber, but you're a contractor and somebody has a plumbing issue, you want to get your plumber to answer their question. Same idea.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Welcome, Joseph. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Well, I've got a few more minutes. If there's anyone else want to share a little bit of their personal experience with either of these protocols or any of the things that we talked about on this call tonight. Anyone? You can unmute yourself.
Brian and Eunice were on, but I don't know if I see them now. I'm not sure if they're still there. Eunice and Brian, are you there? Maybe they went off.
I don't see them. Anyone else?
No.
Going once. I see somebody just unplugged. Okay. Who's that? Hattie? Jane?
Okay. Yep, here I am again.
Hello again. So share with us.
Okay, well, knowing that you kind of, well, basically I've been in it, well, how long now? Never mind, it's been a while. I'm a great consumer. But when I talk to people and I get their information, I'll kind of let you know, and then it all kind of drops. Or if I do get in touch, and introducing them to the three-way doesn't seem to flow.
Okay, so what you need is a little bit more practice with that. First of all, how to introduce the three-way, because if it doesn't flow for you, it's not going to flow for them. So being more comfortable with that, maybe do a little bit of practice with somebody. I'm not sure who you're using as a three-way, but I always introduce the three-way, the concept of the three-way, and I don't call it that, by the way. I say part of the process of informing you is to introduce you to the partners that I work with, because if you were to ever get involved with us, they would be your partners too, and you would probably want to know who they are before you made that decision. So I always use that in the introduction, so when I come back to it later on, it's not a surprise to them that I have somebody that I want to introduce them to, and I usually refer to them as my partner. So
basically, these are the business, you're introducing the business opportunity.
Yeah, but if it's a customer, and then it's not that far off either, because there's a need that we're trying to resolve. And then I would say, look, I have some people who have a little bit more experience at this in that particular realm that I think could help you better familiarize yourself with what needs to be done. And so let me hook them up. And that's kind of how I approach it. I don't say, oh, I want to do a three-way call with you. That's a bit scary to somebody who doesn't even know what that means or why you would want to do that. So it's always about the issue that you're dealing with. Oh, you've got this. You know, I've got somebody who has a lot more experience about that. I bet you they can help us. And be with them. I bet you they could help us solve the problem. Help us. And that way they feel like you're working for them as a consultant.
We are.
Yeah, exactly, we are. And, you know, words are funny things. You know, people take them a certain way. So be very careful in how you use your words. Make sure that what you're communicating is from their point of view. Help it be, you know, that's the key to this whole customer-centric focus, is learning how to be a customer again. And what would you want to hear if somebody was sharing this information with you, so that you would feel very comfortable about it and you would feel that they're really acting out in my best interest. And so you don't get the resistance, because if they feel you're twisting their arm or you're trying to, yeah, there's going to be a resistance there. You know what I found? Have you ever gone to you know, when you walk into a store, and if somebody, this happens to me all the time, they just haven't figured this out yet. As soon as I walk into a store, somebody sees me coming, they come straight over to me before I've done anything. Can I help you? And of course, what's my answer?
Not right now.
No, thanks. I'm just looking, right? Meanwhile, I stepped into the store on my own volition. I'm obviously there because I'm looking for something. If they
I have the other problem. They come up to me and say, where can I find something?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not getting that into my Niken business.
They just have to give me a chance to find what I'm looking for, and then they can help me solve the problem. So that's really what it comes down to, is just help solving people's problem. And that's, you know, the ABC concept, the structure, the rhythm of Niken. All this is giving us many opportunities to experience Niken from points of view and to share Niken for people in various platforms, whether it's an ABC call, a three-way call, or it's an online presentation like this. It's an opportunity for us to leverage, because you're going to hear and learn from people who are very experienced and have done well with Niken. Like Connie was taking notes tonight. She was taking notes because she's going to hear something that she might recall or use going down the road. I remember when I was first starting in Niken, my car became my library. It became my university. As a musician, I would listen to music all the time. I turned that off and started listening to Niken all the time. And that's how I learned what other people said, how they said it, and the ideas of Niken and the products and how they worked on people, etc. So, you know, if you're on these calls more than once, that's not a bad idea. You're learning. As you bring guests on, you're building. So do both and do it as often as you can, because that's what they're here for. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. We've now hit our 10 o'clock time slot. There's another call starting up in a minute. So I hope you a wonderful evening and a great Nikan success story. Thanks to all the new people who joined us. We'll see you on the Nikan Highway. Have a good night.
Thanks, Mike.